Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Zwift Community Live Broadcast, and we are into the West, the final race of the day for the images that we have coming across for you. But we've had racing all day long on this Team Time Trial Playoffs day for the Zwift Racing League Season 1 2021-22 year, and we're in a battle for Premier Division spots as well as coveted helmets, in-game icons for being champions of the Zwift Racing League. Dave Towle next to me. We've had a lot of broadcasting already today. APAC, America's East, as well as the EMEA have all gone. We've got times on the board. We've got standings. And now we've got a few teams that are looking to disrupt that. I think 15 in total across the men's and the women's racing for these next two events.
Yeah, I guess the A's have been sorted out as far as the women go, as we're jumping in with the B's and the C's here out of the West. So Wahoo LaCole can feel pretty good about their efforts out there, although, again, we'll be back on December 4th. But we'll be out on a 27.8-kilometer course, Watopia's waistband. Most of these riders know it pretty well. It's straight ahead, Nathan. All the things that make a team time trial team excellent, precision and power, come into play out here. The teams are already out on course. This is going to be Barbara Fazoli that we're looking at on the ATP team. Barbara is the Canadian on this squad. Alison Grinnell, one of the riders out of the United Kingdom. Joy Connolly and Jennifer Chieda. Also from America is Rachel Winchester and Megan Alexander, coming from down under to be a part of the squad. So this is, again, 28K. We'll get a look at the fastest times for the Bees out here. It's been so competitive. I'm going to guess, Nathan, our top 5 times for the Bees, and this is a guess, but I'm going to say they're all within a minute of each other, and it's even less than that, isn't it? So these are the two teams we've got.
Yeah. I mean, jumping on the splits here, Dave, real quickly, and then we'll take a look at some of the results. Just wanted to give an idea of who's out here trying to disrupt things a little bit. Currently at the top, it is ZRG. As you can see, when it comes to the times that have been set for each one of the splits, 8, 16, 22K. On the top, though, you can see the two green with 5s in them. They have both teams, ATP, Racing Investment, and Dutch Diesel, started with 5 riders, and they have not hit that 8K mark just yet. This is going to be, though, for the B category. So, as you said, Dave, these times are not going to be touched, as they were set earlier today. And the A's are all set and ready to go. But in the C category, we'll also be jumping in with them a little bit. And we do have the Queen Bee Coalition and Dutch Diesel there as well.
Yeah, Dutch Diesel. Again, we learned throughout the season, this is the 9th of 10 races for our top teams. Only the elite squads have made it into our playoffs. But Dutch Diesel is a coaching service that has an umbrella over multiple teams. This is the Cycling Atomic Kittens that we've got in the mix out here. And you can see, well, I was going to say both teams started with 6. That green box shows you the number of riders that took the start out of the desert pen here today. And it was Queen Bee Coalition started with 6. Dutch Diesel, a woman down in this case, Nathan, starting with 5.
Yeah, and as you can see in the Ds as well, we do have, I'm not sure we got any starters here in the D category. So I think we're just going to be looking across the C and B. From what I am seeing here when it comes to the women's side of things. The men are in the pens getting ready to rock as about, it looks like 41 seconds actually before they drop the banner, which means 1 minute and 36 seconds, 35 to the start of the race for these riders, because they need to hang out in the pens just for a little bit as they each have their own time that they will be taking off. So back in with the women, though, Dave, and we can see things playing out right in front of our eyes here. ATP, 4 wide, which is an interesting situation. Grinnell directly to the front. Looking through, it seems that DDC chasing them down, but have lost about 25 seconds so far with Van Houweling, Boyinger, and Mitchell Prey.
I sense a comeback, however, as they look really solid. This is DDC Xena that we're in with right now. I saw a great feature about Molly Van Houweling. Molly is a mom, and a super interesting backstory as she, along with Janelle Yila, Diane Mitchell-Prey, Daniela Torelli, CJ, these are very familiar names, to tell you the truth, CJ Boyinger and Andy Smith making up the DDC team. I get a feeling, Nathan, this one's going to tighten up out here. Is this squad? I don't think they must not have had a great start, but it looks like they're starting to pour some more coal onto the fire right now, which is fitting for this Dutch Diesel team. So, taking a look again, there's going to be two different teams racing right now, but as Nathan mentioned, it's been a big day of racing around the globe. Things started about 18 hours ago down in APAC, which is, I think, Australia, New Zealand, the Asia, and that really started the day for our playoffs, and all of these teams racing on an identical course. So all things are even out here. But Dutch Diesel having a moment as well here, a little bit of a split. These teams, Nathan, this season, um, team time trialing, if you haven't been doing the WTRL races on Thursday, and we're looking forward to racing again coming up, even though in America it's Thursday. What a great way to earn your turkey, right? Get out, do you, if you're in the United States, anyways, it's Thanksgiving this week. But Dutch Diesel here, a team with a majority of Americans, a couple of Canadians on the squad. Canada celebrates their Thanksgiving in October, as Daniela Torelli and Janelle Yela, two of the powerhouses on this team of Dutch Diesel. Zena, that we're looking at right now as they make their way through 8.5K of racing. Again, 20, let's call it 28K on the ledger here today through Watopia's waistband. And of course, Nathan, as familiar as they get and as good as it gets for team time trialing as well. It's uh, not complicated. It allows you to do this effort of a team time trial. It is very pure when you're out here racing on Watopia's waistband. No big descents or climbs.
Looking through to see if we can get some of the times again here, and it looks like on the board it is going to be 11:40. I'm a little surprised here, actually. 11:48, 11:50. So 2 second gap right now. Both of the teams, though, out of the West
Super close.
in this B
Yep.
category in the hunt for a top 5 position right now.
Yeah, and I guess, Nathan, it seems like we're kind of a broken record myself, but these teams are looking to possibly qualify to move up into the A's. Now, in this case, they probably have to start racing in America's East, to tell you the truth, because there is no A division in America's West, and that's where we're at right now. The final race of the day as we make our way around the globe. They say that the sun never sets on the British Empire. I don't know that they've said that for 50 years or so, but the sun never sets on the British Empire. Well, the sun never sets on WTRL. That's for sure. I don't know that Martin ever sleeps, as we've seen continued refinement and improvement in WTRL. And even today, it's been amazing to watch the master at work. It's these, I mean, it's getting these live splits coming in at 8K, 16K, and 22K, and being able to reference them against the racing that happened already today. Nathan, I don't think we could have done this last week if it weren't for what Martin has been doing up there in Calgary.
Yeah, he's slaving away for the broadcast here, so we really appreciate all the work that he's put in. That's for sure.
Made it a better show.
Yeah, 100. Yeah. As we look through on the men's side of things, real quickly, I just want to highlight who's jumping out here, and let's do some comparisons as you were talking about, Dave, real quickly. As oh my God, they Kilkenny are getting out on course, and it is going to be on the Rivet Hayes. Now, these are two teams. Both of them were involved last season in the ZRL playoffs as well, but did not end up grabbing spots, and I think struggled when it came up to the reality of going up against some of the other zones. I'm wondering if they're going to show up today at all, though, with some better times. Getting close to a 10 flat is kind of that bar that's been set at 8K, though, for these teams. That's a pretty big ask, making their way through 8K here on Fuego Flats.
Yeah, it really is. As a matter of fact, I mean, but look how many teams came through deadlocked at 10:06. It really does show you how all things are even out here, and getting any kind of advantage, eking that out is incredibly hard to do. We've seen very few teams really close things down in the finale, as that last K comes at 22. That last check, sorry, comes at 22K. I think the most noteworthy run into the finish would have to be that Roca Corba team trying to make the catch of Wahoo Cole, and they came up just a couple seconds short there over in our women's A's race, which now officially has wrapped up after just a fantastic day. So the early going teams finding their rhythm out here, and this is the kind of course that an experienced team, they eat this up, Nathan, because this is for them. This is their wheelhouse, racing on something like this. Only 100 meters of climbing, so 300 feet of climbing throughout nearly 30K. That's flat.
Pedroza with a solid 463 on the front. This is quite the pull as Jurisic grabs onto his wheel. Backwards map cap in the Yenzi kit. Also up in the 400, so hold on. Now going to come through at 6 watts per kilogram. Steady. 49 kilometers per hour on the Fuego Flats. If I'm competing for a top spot, my aim is going to be over 50 kilometers per hour. If you're looking for a first place with the best in the world, you really got to aim for something over 40, 48, 49 is the minimum in my head that I would allow my team to come under. If I'm DSing or if I'm one of the leaders, I'd really be pressing that pace, looking for that speed and asking the riders not to be slowing anyone down as much as they possibly can.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Nathan. If you dip below that, you have to ask riders, just get off the front. Let the stronger riders take longer pulls right now, and let's hope that you can come good a little bit later. It's a fine line out there, no doubt. So this team has been fun to watch all season long. We've talked about Isaac Jurisic here with, oh my God, they killed Kenny Dan Pedroza on the squad. Two of the Canadians here, Jeffrey Homer and Jamie Dumper, along with Michael Greiner and another Canadian rider, Peter Mong, who really has caught my attention here this year. That's the, oh my God, they killed Kenny team. Well, you can see why. That's Peter, isn't it? Or is it? That's, excuse me, that's Michael.
Greiner. That's Greiner. Look at the setup here with the Greiner.
Michael Greiner with the, yeah. Love it. I wonder what Anna Russell says when she sees something like that. You know her better than anyone in our world, Nathan. Would she like this look?
Kind of go one way or the other. He's got a real. I think there'll be a lot of fashion points here for the yellow. The white on orange accents. The jersey's got the perfect solid there with the orange, and then it kind of dips down into the socks and the gloves, even having their own. And I even feel like he went with the hair color. The hair color.
Yeah, my problem. The frame color. I think she would balk at. I think that she'd find that somehow offensive.
It's not matching. No. I mean, the sacrifice
it does kind of match
speed,
the blue of the jersey, right?
You'd have to sacrifice some speed though if you're not going to go with the Cervelo S5 2020. So I tend to have some leeway when it comes to the speeds factor over the fashion factor.
Fair play. Yeah, I agree. Speed should always. So does form follow function or function follow form? Right, and fashion shouldn't really be in that conversation. So with these guys again, that was a Michael Grenier.
They all have pretty gnarly, interesting setups going on. There is no matching. This is a Z socks, blue Giro shoes. It looks like, I believe,
the gloves
with KOM gloves. Yeah, Afro puffin with a beard and glasses here. I mean, this Pedrosa's he's just not even caring. I think he's just in a van down by the river is the situation right now.
But these guys look like Faith No More.
Literally in a van down by the river with his trainer right now. So Pedrosa doesn't Zwift from the Scottish bathroom. Instead, on the West Coast, it is warm enough that he's Zwifting outside down by the rivers as Jurisic pulls through the front.
Isaac, strong season from Isaac Jurisic here. Nathan, I know we had Ted King out using Starbucks Wi-Fi around the country if they were living a hashtag van life, and he would continue to race on Tuesdays with the Velocio team. I would love to see some of the crazy situations like riders using their phone just to be able to take this discipline.
Kevin Bouchard Hall used his phone to race a cyclocross race while racing a Zwift race, actually.
I saw that. He's done some really interesting stuff. Yeah. I'm a big fan. As we take a look now, we're going to jump over with this should be OTR. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Patrick Schaefer. Patrick at 6'8" on the front. Grant Hill sitting in second wheel there. It looks like Tony Pletcher Hemke there. Knights there as well as Duncan at the back. They've showed up with 6 I believe. And they're doing a
Patrick
solid
did.
46 going backwards here. Hill 48 at the front. I think they may be pulling some time back on OMG.
I wonder if Patrick is living in the United States right now. I'm going to guess that he is, thinking of what time it would be if he was racing in Germany here. OTR
He's
Racing,
on the
Alex
West Coast. I'm
Hemke.
almost positive, just so you know. Like,
Yeah,
I
makes
have raced
sense.
with Patrick, and I believe he's on the West Coast.
I heard a really interesting fact. I hope it's a fact to this today, or read it. But more Canadians more Canadians live in California than in Montreal. And it's got a couple of factors that Montreal's not that large of a city. It's well known certainly, but it doesn't have a huge population. And California, a state of almost 50 million people, there's a lot of Canadians that live and work in the United States now. Uh, and let's take a look here as a little bit of an uphill pitch for Barbara Fazoli, because this is going to be back in with the women now. ATP.
Still waiting for that 12K marker as, 16K marker with 22K being the next one after that. 11:48 from Fazoli and team here is going to put them right smack dab in that 6th place. We'll see if we can jump on over to the C category, get a little more information on them as we look at what's happening with the Bs right now. Behind DDC trying to make that chase.
Yeah, so we do have another day of racing. It'll be a points race, the standard format. We do team time trialing, WTRL style here, or alternately in our 2-race playoff. This is time trial day, and we'll be into mass start day coming up on December 4th. So we had earlier in the day talked about if you're outside of the top 6, it's a huge ask to try to figure out a path for you to make it into the promotion category. It's certainly not impossible, but let's see what we've got here, Nathan. It looks like a catch and pass being made by Dutch Diesel.
Yeah, Dutch Diesel cycling Atomic Kittens making their way through.
Not regular kittens, not the household variety.
Yeah, they just passed up the Coalition Queen Bees as the Atomic Kittens are led out by Trailer at 3.8 at 108 beats per minute. Dale Matherly there as well, Northway. I wonder if there's a relationship to Craig. I'm pretty sure coming out of Australia as well.
It's a good guess.
Double check with Craig.
All right, so this familiar kit, Dutch Diesel, coming on strong here in 2021.
Donna Watts loving the comments, saying the fashion is key, as well as loving your Faith No More reference here. Joy Connolly is serious. I have to agree with you there, Donna Watts. Joy Connolly is no joke to be messed with in this West. Tends to really lead that team up, so we'll keep an eye on her, as well as the rest of the B category in just a moment. We do see a 12:20 coming through, 12:48. That puts them solidly, let's go ahead and double check, in a 4th place, and just outside there, it looks like, in the top 10 for the current situation that we got here for this women's C's across the board for the entire day. So Dutch Diesel, solid ride in the C category here. Top 4 right now.
Yeah, that's a great job, and certainly keeping themselves in contention here, as there's only going to be 3 teams out of all of these squads, all of our all-star teams that have made it into the playoffs that get the promotion up into Premier League if they choose to accept it. Let's take a look at the Ds. I don't think there are any D women in this group, right? It's only Bs and Cs, I believe, that we have in the Americas West.
Good call, Dave.
So much racing today.
Do we have a little separation here? Northway on a rampage on the front right now, 3.9. As they get into the S turns, this is one of the only uphill sections at a steady little 1%. Not a whole lot of effect that you'll feel in the trainer, but you definitely can put the hurt on some of the other teams. And times, if you up those watts per kilogram, gaining some speed through here is crucial to be competitive through these low sections. Really knowing when to put the pressure on, especially with your stronger riders, with little uphills there, Dave, really is the difference between the cream of the crop and those who might need a little bit more experience on a TTT.
Yeah, and it's really fascinating, too, when you realize how subtle it is as the strongest rider on the team when you hit these moments, these uphill grades, where keeping the team together but keeping the speed high, that's a razor's edge, no doubt about it. And it's something that it's one of those things that you have to learn how to do. Feathering that, I mean, Nathan, you've had a lot of experience in that world of being a very strong rider on a team that you're trying to keep the speed up, but you can't blow the team up while doing that, or else you start discouraging people. So, learning how to be a leader, learning how to win. That's some of the things that you can do here on Zwift that really, really pay off in real life.
Looking at the B category, we'll jump on back over there, see how things are playing out. We did just see the split just come through in these C's. It does look like Dutch Diesel are going to be walking away with this for about a solid minute over the top of.
It's a little confusing with the Dutch Diesel team in both groups, right? There's a Dutch Diesel in the B's and in the C's here, so, and they have the same jersey. So, just in case you're wondering if you're going nuts, you're not. There's a lot of Dutch Diesels out here. 16K checks, right? I mean,
no, it's great.
That's not great a bad thing.
There's all these Dutch. There's a bunch of Dutch diesels. Watch out for those diesels out there. So Grinnell off the back. This is crucial. They do not let go of Grinnell. I'm not seeing. I don't think they are. There's two back there. It's a 3-second gap, though. This has to be shut down as Fazoli presses on the front.
Good time to just back off a tiny bit. This is the feathering that I'm talking about. No, you don't just start freewheeling and then have them go past you. You just ease up a little bit. And, I mean, think about being in a team pursuit on the velodrome, how, a 5-watt difference can make or break yourself being in a string or being in a broken rope.
Hines now pulls through. Oh, now 2 riders in the front, so I think they sent another one back. Putting Joy back there was a good idea, as long as she doesn't snap the elastic too much here. Up into 6'5", 6'4". She's probably doing a little bit too much for these ladies to hold on to that wheel. It needs to be more of like a 4.0 steady. Well, it looks like they got a little something maybe out of it, but yeah, you're right. I mean, now Joy heads all the way to the front, carries that speed through.
This is where a director really would take control, right? We heard some of that earlier with Jilly Bean, and just say, hey, ladies, chill out a little bit here, and let's wait. Let's get this back together. Let's weld it back together, and then we can see it's yo-yo.
Have you tried that one?
On them.
Have you tried that one, Dave?
Directing? I've directed before.
No, ladies, chill out. I was just wondering if you've tried that one.
Oh, hey, you two on the front. Stall the beans.
There we go. Just messing with you. How'd that work out for you, Dave? Just kidding.
Yeah, no, you're right. They say never tell a parent how to raise their child. Well, I've been in situations, Nathan, where officials have tried to tell the men's peloton they need to pick up the pace, and that did not go over well. Having people from a car telling the racers that they need to go faster. They'll race at their pace, I think. And I've come to have an immense, and I think, Nathan, you can understand where I'm coming from, an immense amount of respect for letting the racers race their race, right? It's their life.
Yeah, two off the front. They're just going to have to let one go.
Yeah,
I mean, what's happening?
Well, you need 4.
Now Conway's off the back. What is going on? This is not expected at all. Interesting situation. Now, will Joy get back on terms? I think she'll go at 4-3, but I mean, Fazoli on the front at 2-5 is not what you want to see.
Yeah, sub-ideal, for sure. Not the end of the world, but when we look at these splits, Nathan, next time we get a chance to, it'll be interesting to see how important it is for their big picture that they end up with a top 5 or 6 today, because they might be giving up a spot or 2 here, or they might not. No, well,
the other thing is
they've got 7K to go.
This team was challenging.
They're getting together.
Dutch Diesel, they are. They were challenging, though, as you can see. They were ahead. Now they're behind, though, at the 16K marker. So we'll see if they can bring that back. But I think that there was enough. I think there was enough disruption there. It may be too much to come back from. We'll see. I mean, it was already out to 6 seconds. That probably gave him another 5 to bring back or so.
Yeah, but so I wonder if there's a little bit of an adrenaline spike that you get after going through that. I wonder if they're going to be able to use that to their advantage, get this thing locked down, which they have now. This is the ATP that we've come to know and love. So every team is going to go through a bad moment. That might have been slightly exaggerated there for ATP, but this is a solid team. And let's see what they can do here now that they've got their act back together. It's like, every now and then you lose the plot for a moment. I know that's happened to me.
During the
Losing the
broadcast,
plot.
Dave?
Yeah. Oh boy.
Oh.
I tell you what, I'm so happy to have all my new equipment sorted out somewhat here. But man, it's been the toughest 3 days. Swapping over from a Mac to PC is brutal. All right, 6K to go.
Chat is just going to just slam that
Rush.
PC Master Race button for you and just let you know the right decision has been made. Hashtag PC Master Race all over chat, people, as he got off of the luxury item that acts like a potato often. Connolly with Fasoli, Grinnell, that's what we're looking at with ATP. a big
white potato.
So
it's funny how when we
there's no bias here in this house at all. There's no bias toward Android or PC. We'll just at all if you're not reading between the lines there.
2 years ago when we first started, I could hear you cringing when you heard I was a Mac guy. So we've come a long way.
When we first started working on this, you told me, I was like, well, what kind of device do you have? I have a Mac. And I just, okay, we got a lot of work.
And I was very proud.
You were very proud of your Mac. That was the funniest part, is I didn't want to even say anything.
I was excited. I was excited.
You were like, I have a Mac. And I was like, not the response you were expecting from me, that's for sure. As we get back here with DDC.
I think I just bought a new one that week. So I was like, great news for you and me. Anyways, it's been a fun journey, that's for sure. All right, let's bring it on home now. This is Dutch Diesel here as we're in with our bees. And boy, so their time, 23:43. They're at that, well, we'll get this 22K time in just a second. What is the fastest that we've got here? Is it going to be this 32:11?
32:11 will be it. That is it.
So let's see how they stack up against that, how close they can get. Or looks like it won't be bad, to tell you the truth. They're coming on strong, Dutch Diesel.
33:10. Next check, that should be right around now, pretty close between the two still, but I believe right about, we will be getting this checkpoint in just a moment. As we can take another look here over at the C's, though, as we wait for that. Looks like 24:42 and 25:52, still that about minute gap in the C category now. And
comparing them to the times of all the racing earlier today, the Atomic Kittens with 24:42 look extremely good. Yeah, I don't see anyone better. So they're crushing it out here in our women's C's category. Credit where credit is due. The Atomic Kittens, again, these are not your garden variety kittens. These are the very highest level. They're radioactive out here. Surprised that's the first time I've ever used that line.
That is the first time you've ever used that, wasn't it? That was definitely the first time on that one. As we got Ben Howling still hammering away. Let's jump on over to the men and the situation happening there as we've got...
This is Molly. This is Molly Van Howling. I thought it was Liz earlier when I was talking
about the article. We've done that twice now. We've done that
right, so that's Molly, the former world hour record holder who we've talked about many times. So nice to see you, Molly.
20:38, 20:55, as you can see here for these times coming in for the men. Let's go ahead and put that in the corner. And believe, if we take a look here, for these times, we'll see if we can see what we can do with the 16K. It's only going to be, oh my God, they killed Kenny, actually. That's sitting in 21st. Actually... way down. So neither of these teams, I think 13th for OTR Hayes right now, if I'm not incorrect.
Okay. Well, it's a big world with a lot of big engines in it. That's for sure. We saw some amazing times coming in from actually all day long. Got to give the Australians credit, the Aero team. Their times have held up all day long. So here we go. 2055. So, of the two teams we have racing right now on the Rivet Haze, getting the better. 2038 their time, but you can see the World Elite Zwifter Wolfpack. But that team won't be able to take a promotion, I would think, as we already have a World Elite Zwifters Oral 7 team up in Premier League. Not exactly, again, don't that's not the gospel. And sometimes you'll see teams restructure themselves like Riot did coming out of that Ceres program.
We actually had something shared across by our data man, just letting us know what he thinks of Apple. It seems as well. Zemke is at the back here, and that's Dave being eaten by his Apple computer.
Oh boy.
I think. That's what's going on there.
Wow.
Back to the front with Mog, who is streaming over on Twitch, smoking 337.
How do we know that? How do we know that wasn't just some guy being eaten by an Apple computer?
It was a stick figure.
It was
actually.
me. It was me. Oh man, it's been so much fun today getting to see our teams that celebrating, Nathan, to be honest, the best teams in our Zwift community from around the globe. And man, 1,700, more than 1,700 teams race. It's something close to 15,000 athletes are part of this season of the ZRL. Just a tremendous job by WTRL and all of our friends at Zwift, taking esports to a whole nother level out here this year. This is going to be, oh my God, they killed Kenny, coming up on 20K into 27.8K. So they're getting there, that's for sure. Moving back
now,
over
we do have
now.
some times coming in. Look at this. Dutch Diesel Cycling, 34:19. Are they the fastest time?
That's even with Hive from ATP, actually. That 34:19 is deadlocked there with our fastest time at 22K, the third
That's
and
in
final
the
check.
C's. That's actually over in the C's. So we'll jump over there, just take a look at how they're going. That's this. This is going to be the team here. There's a little separation going on right now. Stidham's to the front. I think they're going to come back together pretty easily, though.
And we've seen this happening a few times with a stronger rider just having to ease up a tiny bit. That's really well done here, as this is Dutch Diesel that we're in with. They're getting close to the finish now, 3.2K to go. And again, fantastic. They are deadlocked there. So they're in the hunt for the full 20 points that our top team gets in the final table as we translate all of our teams racing out here today. Most of them have finished many hours ago. This is the last team we've got, last group of teams that we've got out on course here today.
Extremely impressive ride.
Really
here by
impressive.
DDC. Yeah. It looks like GSZ here, just outside of the top 10, I believe, in this C category. HB Racing Hive smashing right now. Now, this is... So... Racing Hive, same time. I mean, DDC here have to really get organized, because I have a feeling that Hive had a little bit more effort, a little bit more organization from what I remember through this section of course. And we really need,
great.
you know, with only 4 left here too. How many did they finish with? Hive had 6. So
when in my dream world, Nathan, we would be able to overlay the exact same race here and see how the two teams looked at these same moments and see how they were in comparison to each other. Can you imagine if you had that? That would be some next level computing, to be able to see a team that raced 10 hours ago and move them into the same start time and see, what have we got here? Okay, just a moment. I'm a little worried about how we came off
just
of the
trying
front
to get
there.
the back. Yeah, I think she just went to 0 quickly. Now, this is a very experienced team. Northway being on this team.
She knew what she was doing. No,
yeah, I really think she does.
Fine, yeah.
If this is the same Northway, Craig actually DS's our team very well. And with
that was precise.
OTR Hayes.
I
have
said,
a feeling there's some pretty good. I think there's some pretty good.
I'll take that back. That
was
more of someone being so good at it. I thought that they were having a problem, but they were just executing at a higher level out there. So Dutch Diesel now just bringing it on home here. This is going to be close.
Dave, they
Certainly going
do
to be a
have
nail biter.
there is that technology out there. We can't it's out. We'll just say it's out there.
You know how they
Hasn't co-
do that in the Olympics, like with downhill skiing, is the one sport where you see how the two runs compare to each other. You know what
Mhm.
I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know
Yeah,
exactly what you're
it's pretty
talking about.
cool. Yeah.
It'd be really cool to have something similar to that, the AI type bots. A feature request that's been out there for quite a while to have a bot that you race against that is yourself in the past. And then if you're able to create that with one rider, you'd be able to create
To
that
do
with
it with the team.
multiple riders and the whole team. So hopefully something down the
Well,
road that could get an added feature to
now that I've
the
requested, and I'm sure that
TTT.
they'll be
Well,
jumping
they
right
only
on it.
listen to you in R&D, just so you know,
Yeah.
Dave.
Oh
That's
no,
really
that's
they watch
that's
the
their.
R&D watches the broadcast only for your ideas. I mean, it's
Oh
really
no,
there's a
completely,
Donkey Kong
completely.
level that will be released, I think, sometime next year.
So you want level 51? Well, it's now called Donkey Kong level. It's in development. Uh,
Oh
Kolchinsky will
my
be all
gosh!
over that, right? Um,
Oh my goodness!
so
Level
okay,
Donkey
Nathan, there.
Kong. We just hit level Donkey Kong on the broadcast. Is what we did.
Been that kind of day. It's been a blast. It really has. These teams are going to be happy to have this one put behind them. I saw. I appreciate Donna Watts's comments today. She's mentioning that Joy is racing at 10 o'clock at night. That's it. That's incredible. So this is another one of the DDC teams that has already finished up. As that was.
Yeah, I was taking a look to see if we could find Connolly and the rest. It looks like they're all done and dusted, as you would say, Dave. So I think we're going to chill out and finding them. As the Queen Bees are making the way, as well as the other DDC teams. So these results will be in across the board for the women's side of racing. We can jump back in with the men then and see how things finish up. As the Bees and the C's, for what we got today, are all done with their races. So we'll get results up for them in just a moment, as it is going to be, oh my God, they killed Kenny, making their way around the Ocean Boulevard. Actually, excuse me, not Ocean Boulevard. They are actually entering Fuego Flats, a little further ahead, 24K in, with about a 2.5K to go.
Watopia's waistband, the course that we've been racing on out here. It's been a level playing field in both literally and figuratively out here today. As we have, oh my God, they killed Kenny getting down to their other inside of 3.7 kilometers of racing remaining. 5 minutes. This one will be over.
37, Dave. That's the fast time. And
Wow.
I think it's
That is quick.
28:33 and a 29 that we're looking at here. So it looks like Europe and America's East Arrow, a lot of representation there. Nothing going to be coming out of the West, though, it looks like, I think, as far as the top 10 go. A little bit further out of the conversation when it comes to the points race. These boys are going to have their race cut out for them.
Yeah, absolutely. You never know. And sometimes, Nathan, being further down in GC like that frees you up for, that possible heroic solo attack, is maybe they're not marking you quite as closely. So you always have to look for the silver lining playbook.
Duncan now 5'3", 22 seconds to catch. Oh my God, they killed Kenny. They're having quite the ride. And it looks like Knight dropped off. Dumper dropped off here as well. So they are no holds barred as they get
like
into
the cut of their jib. Racing their hearts out for us today.
All of them on the S5 too. Really well done on the fashion here. Look at the socks. Oh, actually,
what's the fastest bike? Fastest bike right now for today?
S5 2020, what we're looking at right now.
So you say that with absolutely no question at all.
Well, flat, yeah. I mean, if it were a punchy race, right? Like if I were racing, I'd still do this one personally. You could make some other choices if you're looking for high acceleration. Maybe there might be some.
There's no climbing. It's really
there's no climbing. It's flat and there's nothing punchy and it's just straight up. This has been tested on, I think, a 10-mile course or something along those lines over a certain amount of time at all kinds of wattages, and it was like 11 seconds faster across the board. So there just is no argument when it comes to team time trialing and raw high power. this is the fastest bike.
I wonder what level you need to be to get the Aero helmet. As this is Patrick Schaefer, the German rider here, extremely strong. Going to bring the team into the last couple of K. Do you know offhand, Nathan? Do you have an Aero helmet in your garage
I
or in
do.
your closet?
I do have an Aero helmet.
Makes a difference.
I
A
never had
couple
to think
watts
about
slipperier.
levels. I had this weird thing where I just auto leveled. So
Auto leveling. Oh, to have such problems. They don't offer that in my world. All
the
right, so
javelin is available at level 37.
okay, that's
That's the
relatively high
bell
up.
the bell javelin available at level 37. The
I
next
wonder when we're going
highest
to
one
see.
will be the synth helmet, and then the Giro Vanquish is a 49.
I'm surprised that we don't see that POC helmet like you see Ashton Lambie with the. It almost looks like Dark Helmet's helmet. The comes down to the shoulders. It's completely different thought in aerodynamics rather than leaving that gap between the helmet and the shoulder. You know the helmet I'm talking about, the one that Ashton uses.
100%. My kids wear it at the skate park all the time.
Yeah, it's only like a $500 helmet, I'm sure.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
So, I actually do get a $500 helmet for the craziness Micah is up to make sure he
you
keeps
probably
his head in
should.
his teeth, but it's a full facer. So as Jurisic now
It's
pulls through, they're trying
well
to hold off that 20-second gap. This is going to be it for the day, everybody. Let's call these boys in as they make their way to the finish line.
finishing with 5. Nice job here for. Oh my God, they killed Kenny.
Grenier with the Sasquatch.
That's a
Some
guy you
cool
wouldn't want to.
aviator glasses.
If you had a knocking on the door tonight, you go to open it. I don't know if I'd want to see that guy.
He might have found that offensive.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he gets it.
Pedroza
I
now.
think he gets it.
13 watt per kilogram kick coming from Dan as he takes it down by the river. It's going to be Jurisic and Grenier. Schaefer here now trying to make his way to the line, it looks like, with the rest of the OTR boys. 9 watts per kilogram. Final team to cross the line for us in the Zwift Racing League. Day 1 of the playoffs. Team time trial. We're looking forward to December 4th. But between now and then, we've got some World Championship qualifiers over the weekend. That'll be over on Zwift Live.
Yeah.
And good job to OTR Hayes bringing us in. Now, we do need to jump across, though. I might have kind of jumped the gun a little bit because we do have some other racers out here, Dave. I got Dave all excited, like, oh, we're done. Nope. We're actually going to keep moving here as we do have
This
some
will be
C category to bring to the line as well as Bs.
Yeah, and they're not that far out, to tell you the truth. This is a familiar sector as they transition there onto the wooden bridge. They're at, as you can see, 1.4 and 2.2K to go. Where's Kate Bates when we need her? She still hasn't tried pickle juice. I don't think they have pickles in
Really?
Australia at the end of the. No, I don't think they do that there. Just like we
I
don't
should have
have.
asked her I should have asked her this morning.
I'm pretty sure.
night.
I'm pretty sure. I'll check in this weekend during our Continental Champion Worlds qualifiers. But the Friday Criterion Pickle Juice team down to 2K to go on the Rivet TWSS, which I have to plead ignorance to. I don't know what TWSS stands for. I'll have to find that out today. Every day you should learn something new.
I love
You
the
know?
pickle juice name. Shaniger, Diddy, Meals, Noons, and EJ.
So the pickle juice thing is really proven out to be true. There's something about that sour or that feeling when you get it in your mouth and your body when something like lemon or pickle juice. It's something to do with the nerve, and they're starting to get a habit. So pickle juice is an old school, it's not a wives' tale, but a way of managing cramping for some folks. I know that cross-country skiers used to use a combination of pickle juice and bananas, which sounds lovely, doesn't it? A pickle juice smoothie.
It's what I always think of putting in the blender, personally.
Sounds great, doesn't it?
Right for that pickle
Like,
juice and bananas.
throw an oyster or two in there, and you are.
As we watch the pickle juice make its way to the line, I'll throw some bananas, and we got to hit the number on the blender. I think
hit
we're
the
going
road.
for slow stir to the
I'm
line
driving
right now
down
with
the-
Diddy.
Driving down the viewership numbers with those kind of comments, right? People are grossed out.
I think
This is
they're
gonna
laughing. I
be-
think you're driving them up personally, but
P. Diddy here.
Not
So
to be
Nathan, this
confused with
last
P
half
Diddy.
K, is this the part of the race that hurts the most for you? This last half
No,
K,
the part you want to know the part that hurts the most
the start.
when you're on the front hammering and then one drops off the back and you have to wait.
That
That's
hurts.
the part that hurts the most. Actually, you're like,
But
ah,
that's emotional pain.
yeah.
That's
Well, which is
emotional,
worse than
right?
physical pain? Way worse. Come on
Like, well,
now.
they say human beings learn two different ways: through pain or through money.
Aren't they the same thing? They're the same thing. That's the
Those
same
are the two
thing.
mistakes that those are the two mistakes that really
The
teach
first
you.
mistake was thinking those are different things.
Well, that's an end to the pain element of today for the Friday Criterium team here. TFC pickle juice done and dusted.
Affogato.
Fuego flats, yum yum. That's
Isn't that a
something I'm a
climb?
big fan. Affogato is a an Italian taking vanilla ice cream and putting espresso on it.
Wait. It has to be an Italian person?
Well,
Sorry.
it's an
The way you said
Italian
it. Sorry,
dessert.
no, but the way you said
Yeah, yeah,
it's an Italian
an
taking.
Italian thing. Yeah, yeah. Well, just
Got it.
like yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like pasta bolognese doesn't have to be made in Italy, but I'd call it an Italian thing. No, you would love an affogato, Nathan.
So it's ice
You don't.
cream?
It's sort of old school. Yeah, just vanilla ice cream with espresso on it. It's old
Oh
school.
my gosh.
Something that like 50, 60 years ago people
Looks
used to
like
enjoy. You
there's
don't
like
really
dark
see it
chocolate in it too.
much.
This looks amazing. Look,
You could,
affogato, you
I've
need to
never
bring
heard of that.
this. We need to be sent some affogato. However, you could do that. Even if I have to like
I
mix it
would,
myself, kind of.
like a
And
kit,
then we can
a
have,
whole
yeah, like I need an
a kit with
affogato
dry
kit
ice and
for a
yeah.
broadcast. And then we can have like a taste off. I'll get an affogato. You can have what? What do you what do you want to have?
I'm still working my way through all the Swedish candy that we were mailed.
So I
By the
better
way, the
these guys are in the USA too. It doesn't even have to cross an ocean. So this is full expectation now. We're gonna have an affogato off here as OTR and the dirt team make their way to the line here in the C category.
it's nice to see Racing Without Borders had a good day. That's an Irish team that I've become friendly with. Really enjoy what they're all about. And a good ride. This is our men's C's that we're looking at now. Some of these splits, but I think just a couple teams still out on course here today. These guys aren't. They're right at the bottom of it. Looks like sitting 11th place.
Good call there. I'm gonna update the boards here quick for you.
You know, you spend a lot of time, and especially with everybody getting into Nyoko, this is a beautiful world. It really is. It really holds up for me when you look at Watopia, Fuego Flats out here.
One of the best
I feel like I'm
designed
in
sections.
Utah. Yeah, or we were talking about Death Valley, California earlier. Very, very realistic feel.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're
I think I
still in
stayed in that
Colorado Bear,
hotel.
but I know how this broadcast could probably make you
Ooh,
feel like we're somewhere else.
you're triggering me, Nathan.
Here is the affogato.
That looks fantastic.
Full expectation still out
Yum.
there from the dirt
You know who
team.
loves these? A big, big fan is
A
Kate
Drews and
Bates.
Eric, as well as Drew and 2E. I think they all like them too.
Yeah, well, they know what to do. They know their move.
So Kate
Shoot
Bates,
your
you
shot,
sure?
guys.
She actually tell you
Oh,
that she
yeah.
digs these?
Absolutely 100%. Kate has specifically told me that she loves these. So
All right, it's time
that's not a
to.
question or an opinion. That's a fact.
Martin's letting us know that they have pickles in Australia. They're called gherkins to
Oh,
us,
great.
proper English and Aussies, just so you know, everyone.
So pickles are worldwide, huh? I thought that might be a
But
uniquely
they're called
American thing.
gherkins. They're called gherkins, according to
So what gherkin
Todd.
juice? Maybe that's where Kate's gone wrong then.
Okay,
It's gherkin juice. She'll get it.
got it.
Thank you, Martin. Hey, and Martin, thanks for all you do. You really create a wonderful world for us to race in with WTRL.
Is there a D
And
category? There is
Thursday,
a D category. I'll jump across that.
Nathan, are you planning on Thursday? Will I see you for
Yeah,
some
Thanksgiving. We're
WTRL?
going to be doing some
Let's
WTRL.
do it.
The kids will be
Let's
here.
do
No
it.
school. Maybe we'll do a We'll have
Hey,
Milo
get them to
jump in with us,
broadcast.
perhaps.
To be honest, I'd rather work with Milo. I don't mean to
Yeah,
wreck your
yeah.
night, but Milo's more my style. That kid's got good energy, man.
He does. He does.
He's a
He
great
is.
kid. I'm a big fan of Milo, actually. Big fan of your whole family, actually. I'm not a big fan of racing over wooden planks. This is where you get a nail that cuts your tire.
Yeah, Gordon needs to get with the program and get off of the planks as he is doing right now. Whitney coming on through, as well as looks like Hernandez and Rashawn. Fernandez, excuse me. Giberson, Fisher. I think one lady on the team that is going to be Kay Fisher with this
These are
Hawk team.
D's. These are D's that we're in with here. Correct?
Yes, it
Yes.
is.
See that? Kay Fisher with the D's of the bird of hop. That makes me think it might be kangaroos, but we're not. We're not in that part of the world.
There's enough teams that there's actually 3 teams competing right now in this D category. Really
Oh, wow.
competitive
So
scene here.
tell me you know where Mount Lemmon is.
Well, I need to go there this year, I hope, and
It's in
try and
Tucson, or
kill
near
the
Tucson.
yeah, it's in Tucson. Mountain bike haven in some ways, as far as the
Oh,
mountain
yeah.
bikers and the roadies go
Absolutely.
for the summers, or excuse me, the winters.
I know that the Wells brothers used to go there every year down to Tucson, and Mount Lemmon is the feature climb. Yeah, yeah, right outside of Tucson. It's amazing that,
Wasn't it
there's snow.
wasn't it Guyman versus uh,
Well, yes, there have been a lot of
triathlete?
famous
Triathlete.
KOM. Was it Lionel Sanders?
Sanders. Yep, Lionel Sanders, and I think Sanders demolished it. And I think
Crushed. Yeah.
yeah, and I think the reality of what you saw come through there between the two sports and the determination of a solo effort like that from a triathlete of that level, and just something about, I mean, Lionel is just an animal, like a whole new creation in
No, I'm
some
a
ways.
big
The guy is
fan.
amazing, and
And
I
you feel
watched him take that down, and it's over on YouTube. Anyone wants to check it out? Pretty phenomenal when you watch the two, because they're both YouTubers too, and they both recorded and showed their efforts side by side. Pretty awesome to see.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of Phil Guyman and everything that he does. It's truly enjoyable. But if you look at Lionel Sanders, I mean, that's a time trial is and making watts. That's his business. That's what he does for a living. And yeah, it was truly impressive. That's a really good climb for a steady state effort as well. Two teams not that far apart out here on course. Here is nice to see some cross pollination of love amongst our teams out here.
Yeah,
Everybody
cryogenic cheering
getting,
on Herd. Pretty cool to see.
yeah, yeah, the community's strong. It really is. They compete hard against each other, but with mutual respect, and that's a big part of what makes Zwift Community Live and just the entire community on Zwift special. Good vibes. They put up a sign in my parking area for my condo that says "Good Vibes," and that hasn't improved vibes at all. But the vibes out here are
No putting
are
signs up
really
on
good.
Watopia. No good vibe signs. It sounds like they
No,
don't work.
just do it.
So
Just do the good vibes. Don't put up signs.
affogato only. As now we're gonna head on over to results. These boys are about to finish up in this D category. Let's go ahead and see how things played out for the women. We'll give you an idea first and foremost how it was across the day, and compare that to what all went down when it comes to the results for the playoffs on the day here as well. Let's go ahead and I need to reload. Oh,
Nice,
shoot. There is no
nice look at
A's.
the world of. Yeah, so that was the women's A's from earlier. We had the women's B's racing with us here, and it was ZRG with that 40:28 is the fastest time. And I guess now we can officially say, again, these results are preliminary, but I think we're there. And certainly you'll find them on WTRL's website. 40:28 looks like the fastest time of the day for ZRG, Crush Pod. WYRD, Crush Pod Word. 10 seconds back for second. Herd of Little Penguins in third. Herd of Butterflies in fourth. Kirkmeyer fifth. TBR sixth. SZ seventh. ATP The Racing Vespa team in 8th. It's the AHDRL Bullets in 9th, Agawatt 10th, and Coalition rounding out our top 11. That's the
So
women's
I believe it's
bees.
ATP Racing Vespid that just made their stamp on this on these results just now. DDC, it looks like not in here though, which is a little surprising. Thought they would be competitive here within this crew. See if we do get an update at all, but I believe no changes. It looks like to these standings as it is.
So this is not over. Remembering that we do have a race on December 4th that will a points race to be the second part, a component of our playoffs for all of our community teams. But Nathan, I'll throw it back to you
Hive
for our women's.
versus Dutch Diesel Cycling Atomic Comet. The Kittens were ahead.
3 seconds.
And then they faded 2 seconds back. But Hive, both of them out of America, is not what you usually expect. Awesome to see here.
Wow, that's awesome.
Caramellos, Crush Pod, TFC Storm in there as well, 5th and 6th. It's going to be Gentus there, Crate Crushers, Smile On, and then Marine Otters, followed up by GSC Queen Bee Coalition. They were just out there as well, so they do sneak into the top 11. That's the situation. In the D category, it's going to stay the same. There was no Ds today in the West for the women. On the men's side of things, though, see if we can jump across and find out how the results played out on the day. I don't think we actually have results at the moment for the men. We're going to have to wait for those.
You'll be able to find them all on WTRL. Sure, they're making sure they've got everything correct.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait on those. I think all we have at the moment is this current event. So we're going to go ahead and wait on those. We might have everybody head on over to WTRL. We are going to see the finish here, though, for our final team on the day in the D category. S. Whitney comes across Hernandez as well as they do cross the line. That literally is the final team on the day here. So
done and done out here. The last team time trial of the season. One race left to find out who the creme de la creme really are from our community riders.
And as we are able to just really quickly jump in here and see how this ended up playing out on the day. For the results, arrow hold down at the top. No disruption, it looks like, coming out of America's West, though, when it comes to these results. So we'll leave that be. In the B category, though, I do believe there was a little bit of challenge, perhaps, with the TFC Pickle Juice were in there. As you can see, they made their way into 11th place, about 1 minute back.
Yeah, Dirty Beast, 36:54, the fastest time to take it in the Bs. Virtue Slow, right there. ZRG, third. SC, Swedish Swifters, in fourth. Draft, we just saw them race earlier in the previous race, in fifth. DVR, sixth. And Zebro, seventh for the Legolas. The Eagle from Ed Zebro in the eighth. On the Rivet, ninth. Old Dirty Beast, 10th. And then, as you mentioned, there's the Pickle Juice TFC team in 11th. That's the Bs.
In the C category, looking through, Affogato do slide into 11th place, as you can see. It's going to be Dirt and Ernie, Racing Without Borders, and then ZRG. That's your top three. And each of these teams is going to be getting a descending order, 20 points all the way down to 1 for the top 20, going into the playoffs and competing for the championship. In with the D category.
Yeah, and ATP Racing Helium ends up at the 44:35 in the fastest time. The CLS Delimited Diesels second quickest. RR Endangered Rhinos third. The Vikings Asgard fourth. Belgian the Zwift Riders, the Gorillas in fifth. Crouch and Mount Lemmon, we just saw them out there racing. They'll end up in sixth here. WMZ Dodgers for seventh. AHDR Drop Bears eighth. Herd of Powerful Pronghorns ninth. RR Rocket Rhinos in 10th. The TFC Ghost Riders, they round out our top 11 teams in the D, and that is that. We can go ahead and say it's signed, sealed, and delivered after the first of 2 days of racing for our playoffs. Nathan, that was fun. That really was. I know it's been a long day for everyone. Yeah,
we've been up since midnight. It's almost midnight again, almost a 24-hour, but it's good. We got everybody covered and are able to see where things are at the end of playoff day number 1. As far as the standings go, watch out for Wahoo, Lacole, Roca Corba, and no pins on the women's side of things for the A category. Arrow with the upset and the surprise. Will the Australians be able to hold off and make their way into that premier division? That one really was a little bit of a wow factor for me,
Yeah.
Dave, as we talk about, this day and what has happened and gone down on this day. The other thing, BL13, the Lot Bombs, I think, Dave, have also really been chasing this for a long time, and I'm excited to see where they're standing there in that 3rd place.
Yeah, I was also really excited to see Wahoo Lacole take the women's A's today. That was maybe a little bit of an upset there as well over Roca Corba and that really strong women's A group. So fantastic racing by everybody out there in the community today. You really did earn these spots up in the playoffs, and doesn't get much better than the racing we witnessed out here. So thanks, everybody.
Yeah, and we will see you December 4th for those playoffs, day number 2. It is Innsbruck KOM after party. Again, if you want updates when we're going live with all that, as well as when we're going live with the TTT, you can still sign up before tomorrow, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Central Time, I believe it. No, 8 p.m. UK time. Sign up before that. Tomorrow, you got time still. TTT, we're going to be covering it on Thursday. Get notifications about that by hitting that subscribe notifications, all of those buttons you can do, like and comment. We really appreciate it. We'll see you for the TTT on Thursday, as well as this weekend over on Zwift Live for the World Championship qualifiers. And head on to WTRL for anything else when it comes to racing. That's the spot to go. As always, thanks a lot, Dave, and everybody out there. Right on.